I reiterate that the government is not a monolith. It's a hugely complex entity, and there are activities in the government which many people at the top are not aware of. And so I think that the people have to help the executive branch and Congress become aware of this in a way that's credible, and that's what we're trying to do.
Does it confound you, Stanton, when in your heart as a physicist, in your mind and beliefs, you know this to be a fact, and the general consensus of the body politic laughs at you?
They don't laugh at me, and there have been polls of engineers and scientists, Larry, that show that a majority of them believe they're real.
Right. So you don't think you're on the out?
I've spoken at 100 professional groups, and they respond beautifully. Los Alamos National Laboratory, management clubs. It's their response that's
Denver,
important.
Colorado, hello.
Yes, Mr. King. In our area, we have numerous cattle mutilations, animals that disappear. Local news never says a word. What kind of research, what kind of area are we getting into with these?
Oh, about 80% of those, I think, are decoy events, probably meaning that they are probably done by some branch of the military or intelligence services. There's a core of 10 to 20% that are probably animal experiments for reasons which we don't know.
And I disagree with that. I would say that 99% of the animal mutilations are probably natural phenomenon.
Surmise something for me, Glenn. We only have a few minutes left. What's going out there tonight? Like if the phone rings, what's the number?
What's the number?
Yeah.
Area 51?
What's the phone number?
I don't know.
All right, what is the
702.
702, right.
702, what does the switchboard operator say? Who's there?
Oh,
What are they
who's there?
doing?
Gosh, I wish I knew. But
We
things are going
guess.
to change now. We are at a crossroads, as they say. At this point in history, things are different now. We do not have this Soviet threat that all this secrecy was hidden behind.
Right.
You can hide anything behind our dire enemy.
What do you think's going on out there now, Kevin?
I think that there's just experimentation on the next generation of fighter or bomber aircraft.
Do you think there's
next-generation
any
aircraft.
alien evidence out there, too?
I don't think so, but
You
that's
don't
my
think-
personal
that's your
opinion. I don't think it's involved out there, no.
Dr. Greer.
I honestly don't know what's going on at Area 51. I will say that I'm certain that there are current operations dealing with deep space network and telemetry into space and what have you, where people are aware of the movements of these spacecraft in real time. And what I'd like to focus on is not things that happened 50 years ago, but the fact that here tonight somewhere there is activity which can be traced and can be documented, and what we need to do is to somehow to establish contact with whoever is behind this phenomenon.
All right, when do you think, Stanton, your evidence, as you see it, will be accepted?
I don't know that it's been rejected. It hasn't
well,
been
I mean-
presented in the right places, I guess. I'm an optimist. I think, again, because of Hazel O'Leary on your show, talking about Bill Clinton and the Department of Energy, 33 million pages of stuff. And since they weren't involved in the beginning of the cover-up, that they will have guts enough to open the door to the data. And I think that'll happen within the next few years, before the end of the century. Funny thing to say.
And do you think another thing might happen? Glenn, do you think maybe they'll come to Washington, these aliens, and say hello?
I have the feeling, personal, that they probably obey the prime directive, and that comes from Star Trek, that they should leave us alone and let us conduct our own lives. They seem to not want a lot of attention.
Let me say, though, I do think that within the decade that it is likely that an undeniable event will transpire. The proliferation of video cameras and other technologies are such that some of the events that had happened and waves of UFO events that had happened in past decades, if they were to happen now in 1994, there is a higher and higher chance that this would result in undeniable evidence.
Are you encouraged that this administration would help?
Yes, I do.
Therefore, you think President Clinton does not now know what you may know?
I really shouldn't comment on that.
What does that mean?
That's a mysterious.
Well, I just don't. What I think is that the current administration and cabinet level people are probably not informed to where they should be, and to the extent they have been informed, it has probably been disinformation and not information.
Kevin, optimistic or pessimistic?
Oh, looking at the history of our government in the last 50 years, I'm fairly pessimistic. I think it will take some kind of an outside event for us to really learn what's going on.
Glenn?
I'm neither optimistic or pessimistic. If the story hits, it will cause a big stir in the media for a while, but we'll go back to our regular lives.
Just for a while? Come on.
Well, picture
Hard copy will be there tomorrow morning up
picture
in Pluto.
Picture the O.J. Simpson brouhaha and multiply that by 10, and maybe you might have the UFO thing.
Sex in space.
Oh, it'll be incredible.
I think it'll be bigger than that. And
I'm an
I think
optimist, Larry.
I think that what you'll see is a transformation in the way we look at ourselves as a people. We will evolve into a global society instead of national ones.
Are you optimistic?
Yes, I'm very optimistic, in fact.
And you, Stanton?
I'm optimistic. I'm concerned that the American people are nowhere near enough aware of how much stuff is being covered up as we speak. The huge black budgets, all the documents, that scares me.
Thank you all very much for being a terrific panel and for participating in this show that started in daylight and ended in darkness. Our guests have been Kevin Randall, Captain United States Air Force Reserves, Glenn Campbell on the far end, Area 51 activist, Dr. Stephen Greer, and Stanton Friedman, nuclear physicist and UFO researchers. This has been another one of our series of TNT specials. We do these about twice a year for our sister network. Our regular home is Larry King Live on CNN. We thank you very much for joining us. We hope that you learned a lot tonight and found it both entertaining and informative at the same time. We also want to thank everybody associated here in this wonderful little spot on our treasured earth called Rachel, Nevada, for their wonderful cooperation, and this great crew as well, our producers and the entire staff. Thanks for joining us. Have a great time, and bye.
Who are they? Where do they come from? What do they want? UFO Watch 94 explores the mysterious phenomenon of extraterrestrial visitation with a special encore of the UFO Cover-Up, hosted by Larry King. Next on TNT.